I I know, it's fine computer issues. Hey, we're already live. I was talking to people because people were in chat. Oh, now you're actually volume, so now people can hear you too. There you go. Hi, welcome everyone. Uh, no, it's fine. This day, I'm glad we're gonna get done with because everything that has occurred. Oh my god, your computer problems, which have apparently compounded, and then computer problems for someone else, and then I'll leave the fact that he was hoping to be free, but he was role playing last night with Scott and the rest of them, and since 9 o'clock our time, and he's in England, you think of when he got to bed.
Yes.
So yeah, he got up at 12:45 and was like, I don't think I'll be in a position to join you guys.
Bad Ollie, bad.
He's not chat. If he was in chat, we could bother him. But he's probably. I know.
I'm picking on him in general if he watches the video.
I know. He might just be doing some art, doing something. He's been doing a lot of that. So. All right. Let's begin the actual show. So everything I was talking about up until now, guess what? I'm gonna split that off and make that into a, a State of the Empire video, because I'm kind of lazy and haven't been able. Well, I can't say I'm necessarily lazy. I haven't had the extra time to throw one in with how the weeks have been going, and I wanted to do at least something with 500 subscribers. And
Congratulations!
Yeah, that hit last week or something. Actually,
Congratulations!
I know. I think the next big thing is 50,000 views. I'm almost up to. So that's the next big thing, and theoretical affiliation on Twitch at some point in time, hopefully. We'll see which of these happens next. Alright, everybody. So, let's dive into this week. I introduced this earlier, but if you've... I know people might have shown up. Who knows? So, Discussing Tabletop. Welcome. It is our... oh boy. 43rd episode. We've only missed 1 week since we started. It is August 26, 2017. We do have an interesting topic list today. So, we'll start with D&D Beyond. It's officially released. We'll talk a little about that.
So it's gone beyond.
I know. I will note that we might make this a little shorter because we are starting late, and it's only the two of us anyway. So we'll see what we cut out and how we do it. Then I do want to talk about Starfinder because it actually came out now, and the first adventure path for it is out. On a similar level, the Coriolis RPG has put out the Dying Ship Adventure, which looks actually kind of really cool. I think it looks actually a little more cool than the Starfinder adventure path, but the first adventure at least. But, whatever can we say. I do want to talk about the Rifts RPG, The Secrets of the Atlanteans. I know very little about Rifts, and now they've put out, The Secret of the Atlanteans, so it's cool to, I've heard about Rifts in passing, basically, up until now. But they have something for it. And the final thing is Port Royal. It's apparently been very big in Europe, but now, thanks to Steve Jackson Games, we're getting an American release of it. I don't know necessarily if it's an English release or not, but it's a US version. Why don't we get started? D&D Beyond. It's officially been released. According to Wizards. They're like, we've released D&D Beyond.
Yes. Gone beyond the pre-release.
Beyond the pre-release comes D&D Beyond. I mean, they're also at HasCon or something, but everybody's at HasbroCon right now, and they're technically parts of it, so we're not going to even dive into that discussion because that's another quagmire or something. So technically, D&D Beyond went live in the middle of last week, after after I'd set up the information for last week's show. This week's show, when I sent up the information for it? Yesterday. That's how beyond being late I am for that stuff. But anyway, so it's 40 years of stuff. Theoretically, the app is available.
I'm checking that right now. Yes, it is on Android at least.
Well, that's what I have too. So, I mean, here we go. You can get,
Actually, I can tell you if you want to know if it's on Apple, because I have a work phone. I could check the Apple Store.
Ooh.
If you want to hold on one moment for me, you can continue talking about it, but I will check.
All right, so we talked a little bit about about it before. I mean, we did discuss it pretty well, like what it was offering before. So Diamond, one of the Saturday streams, loves riffs. So if you know a little bit more about riffs than we do, Diamond, go ahead and let us know in chat, and we'll try to integrate that. Because again, we're coming from I've heard about riffs before, but I've never experienced it, and that's I haven't heard about new releases since I started this show. So it's like, again, but I've also keep increasing my sources that I get news from. One of those advantages about slowly. D&D Beyond's not showing up yet on my on my phone. I'll have to find it later. So forget it for now. But so like D&D Beyond helps you to create characters, helps for homebrew content, having information for that, has compendiums of information. They had the app and the website, and you could create characters on that. Last they said that you have builders. You have to sign in for them. Now, the thing I do want to say is,
there are subscription levels.
Yes, which we talked about previously. There are subscription levels to it. Joe, you got a lot of good information about it before.
Yeah, there were 3 different levels. There was free, and it's not on Apple yet.
Okay, it's not on Apple yet. And I haven't been able to find it on my phone yet, but I just briefly looked while you were looking.
I just looked in the App Store, and I just installed it on my phone, so I can tell you live what the app actually looks like compared to the website, because they've only had the website, and that's what I've been playing with.
Yes.
So they have different. You can download different issues of that. Wait, this doesn't look nearly the same.
Is it the same thing, or is it just not actually live?
No, you know what? It is not. That was D&D Plus.
Oh, I know what you got then. Yeah.
Yeah, that was for their magazine.
I actually have gotten that.
I don't think it's on the App Store yet.
Yeah. So it's not it's like when they show it here, they show it like with apps and stuff. So they say it's now available, but I don't know what that means exactly if it's not on the if it's not actually on the site. You know,
yeah,
that's kind of...
right now you can still access I think maybe they just mean the full site is up and running with all options. Because I think the last time I checked, they mentioned what the subscriptions were, but they weren't available yet.
Yeah, it sounds like the digital tool set is fully available right now, at very least.
Yeah, well, and I know you can create characters on it.
Yeah. So I guess you could still access it via phone if you went through like mobile, like Firefox or Chrome or something, or whatever browser you have.
Website.
Yeah.
And with character creation, looks like they had 3 different character methods: a standard, a quick build, and a randomized.
Randomized might be cool to do sometime. I actually, if you have a random character creator, that actually might be also useful for, like, if I...
One shot.
Yeah, I need some characters for a one shot, throw together some characters, and then boom, there we go. I don't have to worry about building anything. And people don't.
Create a character of any level with random statistics, I can speak today, by setting parameters. Quick build is create a first level character using recommending starting options, and then standard, step-by-step approach.
Cool.
So I don't know if that means, though, with the quick build, if it'll do equipment or not, though. I'm going to try it real quick if you want to continue entertaining the people.
Oh, sure. I can try to continue entertaining the people. I've been entertaining the people for like half an hour, so...
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. You've had massive computer issues up until now with lack of internet, and now it wants to update everything all at once, or something.
Yeah, I turned my computer on, and it's like, hey, guess what? Microsoft wants to give you, like, massive updates.
Oh, God, Microsoft. Ugh.
Okay, so apparently you still have to you choose the level. You have to still choose a race. You still have to choose what class you want to be. You can choose to allow or not allow multi-class, and allow or not allow feats, and it asks you for a name.
Okay.
So I'm making a random gnome rogue named Bob, who's level 10.
Oh god, yeah. It could be nice for generating some random NPCs. You're completely right, Diamond Worm. This would actually be really wonderful for us.
Well, they also have an NPC generator.
Ooh.
And a way you can level up monsters as well. Okay, so I generated the character. It gave me abilities. It gave me skills. It gave me an unarmed attack. So, yeah, you still have to do equipment and everything.
I got equipment on mine, and I did a random elf monk.
That's weird.
Look under items. It's below unarmed attack. Might have them. I have a dart and a short sword too.
No, I only have unarmed strike for a rogue.
That's kind of weird.
It did not create any items for me.
Like
Inventory. You currently have no items in your inventory. Add items in the list below.
see, like I got an explorer's pack and stuff too.
Yeah, it didn't give me anything.
So
I don't know why.
Weird. Yeah.
Maybe I missed something.
I just kept it simple. So, but I mean, this would also still be... This is still really great because I just created a wood elf monk that I could easily play, and I don't think I'd have a problem playing this character. You know, it's relatively simple created, and for something like a one-shot.
I see why.
Hmm.
Well, maybe not. I just did a random without choosing anything, and it did give me it created a spellcaster. It gave me spells, but it still didn't give me any equipment.
Oh, I did quick build. So you've been doing randomize. Okay.
Yeah, I did randomize.
Oh. I did quick build.
Because randomize, you can actually create a character of any level.
Ah, see, you know, that might be advantage in that case then, but it's more choices at that point in time you have to worry about. But no, so this character creation and the NPC character creation, just creating random ones, it is a ridiculously great thing to have. I'm sorry. Instantaneously here, I am really happy with D&D Beyond just with this. I had some complaints about like its uses and stuff like in my mind, but a quick build for like a character, if I wanted to like create a dirty first level character that I just wanted to play for some kind of one shot that I don't have to worry about, guess what? I just threw that together. I don't have to worry about putting anything together myself. That makes it so easy.
Okay, and they do have all the subscription options fully available now. So you can do hero tier, which is for players. You can do either annually, which is $25.99 a year, $14.99 a year for semi-annually, or monthly for $2.99 a month. And then they have the master tier, which is for GMs. It's $54.99 a year, $29.99 every 6 months, or $5.99 a month. So actually, that's different than what they were originally saying. Originally, they were saying there was going to be different tiers of subscription with different abilities. So apparently now they made it actually simpler. That the free tier is just you get up to 6 characters. That's the main limitation.
And you could delete characters.
That's the only limitation. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's ads displayed. If you get a hero or master tier, there's no ads, and you have unlimited characters. And the master tier, which is for GMs, you also get to share unlocked official content with others for up to 3 campaigns with up to 12 players each.
See, so there's some pretty good advantages there, definitely.
Yeah, it's better than what they were originally saying. Like I said, last time we talked about this, they had tiers for hero and master, and it was like, if you paid this much, you get this many characters. If you pay more, you get unlimited characters. So now they actually made it, to me, a little bit better. by just lumping in, okay, you can either play annually, semi-annually or monthly, and you either have the player tier or the game master tier, and here's the prices. Which, honestly, even $26 a month for a player, or $26 a year for a player, is not bad.
Yeah.
Especially if you play a lot of D&D, and you're creating a lot of characters for different campaigns. If you play a lot, especially if you play a lot online, it can easily be, it can pay for itself in the time that you're saving.
Yeah.
Plus, you get access to all the homebrew stuff, which is nice too, to see what people might be doing, changing things in homebrew, and see if that might fit something better for your campaign.
I mean, there's always places. I think the Dungeon Masters Guild allows you to check out homebrew stuff still too. But no, this is
putting everything in one place though.
Yeah, it is putting it with extra places, so it references it a little better. Like, I feel
even with the homebrew stuff, it's still getting the D&D is still looking over it before they're putting it on the site. So there's still some officialness to it.
Yeah.
So it's probably not going to be the most crazy homebrew stuff that's out there. It's going to be stuff that D&D goes, okay, we understand this, we agree with it. We'll allow you to be able to look at.
Yeah. No, and it is nice that they do reference a lot of the other interesting races that they've put out that you don't have options with and stuff too.
Although nothing's coming up in homebrew right now. Oh, that's because I'm looking at my content. Never mind.
I mean, you can check it.
Difference.
Yeah, you do. It does make a difference.
Holy crap! There's lots of homebrew spells.
Oh well, yeah. Oh, people have been doing a lot of stuff. So this looks definitely interesting. That they do have a very good selection of stuff you can definitely check out.
And the monster creator, I think, is a giant helpful thing, because you can finally sit there and go, well, I want to use this kind of creature, but I want it more challenging. Or create something completely from scratch using official D&D rules. And before, instead of having to have all these reference materials, try to scan through books and try to figure out all the nuances of what you should be able to do or what you shouldn't be able to do with it, and figure out what challenge rating that would equal. Now you have an app that can do that.
Yes. Now it will be nice when it goes to phone app and not just website, but still.
Yeah. But I mean, if you're for monster creation and stuff like that, you probably aren't going to be doing it quickly on your phone. It's something you're probably going to set up as you're creating a monster from scratch.
This is accurate. Yes. No, that's definitely an accurate thing to say about it. Oh, man. So, okay. I think that's good enough to talking about D&D Beyond. We like what we see so far, I guess is the best way of saying it.
Yeah, and we've gone over a lot of this stuff already in the previous videos, which you can easily go back and look at our opinions about it as it's grown. This just makes everything official, that you can now subscribe to it and everything else. That's the big change here.
Yes, and though they haven't released the app yet, which they do promise an app, we do at least have a physical release of some kind that you can check out now.
Yeah.
So, all right. Why don't we talk about, Starfinder? So it's officially out. That's the best way of saying it. Core Rulebook is out now. The Adventure Path is out now. And a whole bunch of other products. I mean, the Core Rulebook is 528 pages.
That's a lot of pages.
I mean, the Pathfinder book is pretty large, too. The original Pathfinder book. And which people do complain about, but I always say it's because it takes a whole chunk of stuff that would be normally in the DMG and throws it into the player's handbook. You know, like all the magic.
Apparently, I'm on the site now. Apparently, also this fall they're going to be releasing the online rules.
So that'll be nice. Is it going to be like the PSFRD, which is not connected directly? That's the question. Is they're going to have something like that for Starfinder?
I'm not sure because I'm on the actual Pazio Starfinder page, and it has a section for online rules which says Starfinder reference document lands fall 2017.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's going to be an actual official Paizo.
Paizo.
I can speak today.
It's fine.
Grand Prix.
I've been good. Thank you very much.
Yes, I know. I was making the reference that I've acted like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Paizo, I can speak today.
Yep.
Is going to have an official page for it instead of it being third party. Now, will the same people who do the third party PSFRD do one too? Probably. I could see that happening, but we'll have something official as well as it looks like. Will it be as in depth? We'll have to wait and see when it comes out.
Yeah, that's true. So, you know, it's like I can understand it being larger than the Pathfinder core book, because now we have pretty much a lot of the same things you'd have in the Pathfinder core book, except now you have both spaceships and technology, along with spells. Because I guess they got magic, because it's basically taking Pathfinder people and like putting them into space travel, like thousands of years in the future. And like we talked about, like they put out a lot of their own essential races, but as I saw some information they talked about, it's like, yeah, you could play any of the races from Pathfinder. Most of them are still around. They aren't in the same way that they used to be. Like, elves actually remember the time period where they don't remember anything. It's like, there's this blackout. We don't know why we have this blackout. Galarian disappeared.
Oh, here's something interesting. Starfinder is actually licensed with Paizo to use Paizo.
Paizo.
Paizo. I don't know why I keep saying it that way. Paizo. To use their Pathfinder system. It's actually licensed with Wizards of the Coast.
Well, that might be because it's a D20 system.
Okay. Because they have licensing information, I'm just looking over it and I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
I think Pathfinder has the same thing, because remember, Pathfinder is essentially based off of 3.5 D&D.
Yeah, and a lot of the people who created it are the same people.
And I think Starfinder is a derivative of Pathfinder. I think it's adaptable, but it does sound like it's different, because they do have like a accessory you can get that adapts stuff from it. Yeah. So you do need to adapt things. So, I mean, we've mentioned little bits about it here and there over the past weeks, and it's supposed to be space opera. Is the theme that they're trying to go for? Whether they've captured it yet or not, I don't know. I guess we'd have to take a look at their Starfinder adventure paths to really get a good idea whether they've captured this or not.
Yeah, and it looks like the core rulebook, if you're getting it in hardcover, is $60.
Yeah.
If you get it PDF, though, it's $10.
So it's not a bad for PDF. No. That's actually pretty cheap. But the thing is, like, sometimes you want a good hardcover book anyway. This is the kind of thing that you might actually want to get something like that. But, now, I did want to talk a little bit about its adventure path. Incident at, it's Dead Sun's adventure path is what they call it. And Incident at Absalom Station is the actual adventure, the first one. So, you know, I'm guessing because we'll have, like, their version of Space Bestiary.
Oh, yeah, Dead Suns, it's one of 6, so it's going to be a 6-part adventure path.
Yeah, but anyway, so they have their adventure. They have, as usual, lots of extra stuff in the book. Information for starship design. They've got a little extra in there that's not probably in the main handbook. Some alien creatures that are probably not going to be in the whatever version of Bestiary they get, and some other magic items. And so, you know, their first adventure is you go to Absalom Station, and I guess there's a gang war and some murder and mystery, and rival mining companies, and so a lot of stuff's going on there at this place, and you're investigating it. So it sounds like you're starting out with more of like an investigation kind of adventure part of it, which space investigation, I don't know if it's like how this will really like, you know, necessarily fit in with the space opera theme that they want.
Yeah, it looks like they already have their first bestiary, quote unquote, planned. It's going to be available on PDF October 25th. That's going to be called the Starfinder Alien Archive.
So that's cool. 20 bizarre life forms, 20 races. I mean, that's
80 bizarre life forms.
Oh, sorry, 80 bizarre. Yeah, 20 races. That's 100 creatures. So it's not a bad selection of stuff. Yeah, I mean, and NPC rules. So that'll be nice when they got that out. So we do have a couple of other stuff in there, and I'm sure a lot of the races are going to be like either some new stuff, or it might be derivatives of like what's happened to some of those races that were on Galarian that are now in space or something. Because I think they mentioned like space goblins or something, you know?
Yeah, and they also just released the Starfinder First Contact, which has a dozen alien creatures throughout the Galarian system, a player race information to let you be an alien.
That has been out.
Yeah, that came out on this month.
Yeah, but it came out earlier because that was the thing that came out as part of... It came out originally in Free RPG Day. I think we did talk about that one a little bit.
Oh, you're right. I'm
yep.
sorry. I'm just looking over the store and seeing what they had. Sorry.
Yeah. That's fine. No, that was the one that helped with conversion from Pathfinder to Starfinder, which is a really good one to have. They seem to have some kind of subscription service too, which I'm not...
Yeah, I've seen that with the subscription service, a lot of the PDFs are either discounted or free.
Huh. Weird.
So I'm guessing it's, you know, if you want to invest in, you know, Starfinder and you plan to play a lot of it, you might want to go subscription based.
Yeah, and get a lot of the copies of the PDFs and stuff. Yeah, that I mean, it sounds like, you know, there's a little bit more to it than just, you know, I become one or something, but, you know, we'll see.
They also seem to own the rights to kill Dr. Lucky and save Dr. Lucky.
Ooh, save Dr. Lucky. It's the opposite of killing him. I just don't find that as fun. I mean, I wanted to totally murder Dr. Lucky. I was thinking to myself, you know what I need to do? Dr. Lucky must die.
What did he do to you?
He was lucky. He stole all my luck. You didn't know that? He had a luck-stealing machine.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, you might want to angle your camera a little down. Right now, you're a floating head.
That's because I'm also, like, lounging in this chair a little bit.
Oh, okay.
I'm lounging
your
back.
mouth will disappear very quickly, it seems.
Oh, I was lounging back a little bit. I shouldn't have been, but I've already been in this chair for an hour. I'm already in lounging mode a little bit.
Sorry.
It's fine. No. It's perfectly explainable. So, yeah, Starfinder, out now. Interesting to check out. We'll probably test it at some point in time. I'm not exactly sure when. Maybe it'll add to the list of things to maybe try on stream.
Yes.
I might not mind trying the Starfinder Adventure Path, like, on stream or something. I don't know when I'd have the time to do it, but it would be cool.
While our other game's on hiatus.
Oh, God. Yeah, I don't even know what's... As I was telling people earlier, I'm not sure what's going on this Sunday because Rachel's still in Hawaii and I don't think she has good access. And Frank may or may not have internet depending on how that hurricane went yesterday.
Yes. Hopefully everyone we know in Texas is doing fine.
We don't know a lot of people, but we know a few.
We know at least 2.
That's true. All right. Why don't we move on, though, because we do have a couple more topics I want to cover before we finish up. The Coriolis RPG has a new adventure, The Dying Ship. Truthfully speaking, I find this one really cool, and it is a standard adventure. I'm going to say that. It's a standard spacefaring adventure, but it's also standard because it's, like, cliche sci-fi. Ship goes out of control. It's going to, like, hit into something or go somewhere it shouldn't have. You've got to investigate it, find out what's happened to it, get it back on track, sort of things. No life signs on board. The Orin 2. It's an ice hauler, apparently, and it's on the course for deadly asteroid cloud. So you've got to intercept the heavy freighter, find out what happened, and bring it back to safety. And, I mean, again, this is a very standard, you know, how many times have you heard about a adventure with a ship adrift or something in space that people have to go get? It's Event Horizon, the movie, or a couple other ones, you know, or TV series usually have something like this at some point in time. The ghost ship, so to say. But
Ghost?
it might not actually be Ghost. It might be something else entirely, you know. But it's like, you know, there's no life signs on board. That's unusual. Let's check it out. It's still, even though it's standard, it's still fun.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like, I would want to do some adventures like that. I don't have an excuse to do adventures like that in any kind of role-playing game system and stuff. Now I do.
It's standard for a reason. It works.
Yes. Has handouts, practice tips for the GMs, and 5 pre-made characters if you want to use them, which is actually really nice too. Because sometimes a pre-made character can really help.
It's going towards a deadly asteroid cloud. Dun dun dun.
And it actually, like, okay, now granted, you can get the normal version for $20 US dollar, or the PDF for 11. But apparently, if you get the physical version, you get a free PDF with it.
Oh, that's nice.
So, I mean, they're like, well, you get PDF and the book. Which, I mean, it can be useful. There's times and places where you might want to use the PDF, too. Like, I know if I have an excuse to get a PDF, I can sometimes have it, on my phone that I can reference stuff.
Plus, PDFs are searchable, normally.
Yeah, yes.
So, that makes it a lot easier, too, than trying to flip through pages going, I think
well, it's also, for me, more like, I prefer the flip-through pages. I usually, look enough ahead of time, but it's sort of like, oh, I'm out and about, and maybe I want to study up for my adventure. I can look it up.
Yes.
My niece is managing to put herself in a position where we can probably hear her very well.
Stream niece!
Streamcat was earlier. You missed Streamcat.
Aw.
Yeah, Streamcat is now probably under the table or somewhere. I don't know. Cat wandered off.
Streamcat's deadlier, but Stream niece is cuter.
Stream niece is pretty deadly. She got some time out.
Has she killed anyone yet?
She got some time out today for being naughty.
But has she killed anyone yet?
Streamcat hasn't either.
You don't know. He might have killed a bug.
She might have killed. She might have killed that bat if she had a chance.
Yes.
Who are you talking to?
I'm talking to Joe and people online. There's a lot of people online. Maybe not a lot. There's 4 people here.
Listen, I have to take my shower.
No, I can't see them. Why don't you
I-
watch another thing on the DVR?
I have to take a shower.
You are adorable. Aww.
He has to watch.
I see the entire internet full of people.
Technically speaking, I'll be speaking to more people when this goes up on the channel. Which reminds me, I will be uploading last week's Discussing Tabletop today. Because of scheduling problems, it hasn't uploaded yet. As much as you've had technical issues, my entire issues have just been great too. Anyway, so back to Coriolis, now that we've had that entire distraction of real-life existence.
Streamies!
Streamies! I'm doing air guitar for Streamies. But yeah, so I want to check this out. It's like the Coriolis RPG system has been interesting to me, and I would like to see how it's different than Pathfinder, definitely. But all these space ones, I would like to check a few of them out.
Or Starfinder.
Yeah, or that's what I mean, Starfinder. This would be a cool one maybe to do for the RPG Spotlight. This little adventure here. It might be a great way of spotlighting Coriolis, but
Yes.
anyway, so that's Coriolis for now. The Dying Ship looks really cool. I guess check it out if you're interested in that kind of adventures. I know I am. That's the best way I can say.
Cool.
Yeah. So let's talk about Rifts a little bit, and of course the secrets of the Atlanteans.
You want a rift on rift?
Yeah. So Rifts, from what I can see, has been around for forever. Not forever, but it's a Rifts.
Long standing.
Yeah, the Rifts RPG is a long-standing RPG. 1990 was when it was first published. That was
Hard, eh?
That's first edition, and the Ultimate Edition was published in 2005. So I'm guessing that's like their 1.5 release of it. I'm gonna guess, you know.
Yes. It looks like the original one was Cyber Knight in 1990.
It might have been. Paldinium Books is the publisher for all of them, so it's hard to say. Like, there's like ridiculous amounts of setting stuff too. And apparently it was influenced by Bubblegum Crisis and Lovecraft. So that's like very interesting. Those are two great things I like. I loved Bubblegum Crisis, the original from the 80s, which was a classic cyberpunk. That's classic cyberpunk anime. One of the best. And then Lovecraft also adding a little influence to it. Lovecraftian storytelling techniques, they say, with a bit of horror. With magic and supernatural, hundreds of years in the futures, and rifts in time and space. With magical energy. Yeah. And apparently there's a lot of ridiculous history to this, which I'm not going to go trying to look into. But, so yeah, rifts. It's an adventure. It's a game system that I haven't seen anything come out for it recently, I do have to say. Maybe they've had stuff, because they have been going on for, oh my god, 27 years, because 90, right? I was thinking 80 for a second. 27 years they have been publishing stuff, and they keep going apparently, because this has just come out now, and it's the secrets of the Atlanteans, basically, the most mysterious and storied heroes of the megaverse, they call it. Wow. And they fled Earth 15,000 years ago when Atlantis was lost, traveling the cosmos, and masters of dimensional travel and fabled tattoo magic. Wow. They're apparently renowned as vampire slayers and heroic champions of light. Look, I'm just saying, Rifts is weird, man. Vampire slayer Atlanteans from space.
So, but the question is, are they more Aquaman Atlantean or more, oh god, Marvel's version,
The Namor?
Namor.
But Namor is the only one that looks normal. If you look at some of the other Atlanteans from his thing, they look kind of more fishy. Like, Aquaman's Atlanteans don't look fishy at all. They look like just underwater people.
No, but Namor also has wings on his feet.
Yes, and Namor apparently is, I think, supposed to be half Atlantean, half human, and that's why he looks like he does.
Yes.
That's why he looks more human, I guess,
That's
or something.
I'm saying, which kind of Atlanteans are we talking about?
It looks more
Humans,
Aquaman.
so
Yeah, it looks more Aquaman.
Now, can they talk to fish?
I don't know, but they have tattoo magic and shadow magic in the book and crystal magic spells.
Yes. And there's going to be a stone pyramids.
Ooh.
And Stone Master and Undead Slayer are revisited.
It's 224 pages. It's like, I mean, I guess it's like, it's the first big book they've had in a while, and it's like the Secrets of the Atlanteans.
Dark Secrets of the Sinister Sunaj Secret Society.
Are those vampires? I'm going to assume they're vampires.
I don't know. It just mentions there's dark secrets of them. Of their secret society. It's like, dark secrets of the secret society. That's
yeah.
not a secret.
Man, yeah, there's apparently 4 to 5 character classes per character group. So there's like groups of character classes, and then you could have things below those.
Well, so I'm thinking like you might have like the sneak group, and it might have like a thief, assassin.
Yeah. Well, like their example is like the men at arms or combat specialists. They include cyborgs, freelance warriors called headhunters, the coalition armor, and glitter boys in power armor. Oh, it's called glitter because it's a laser-proof chrome ally.
I don't care. I would not play a character called a glitter boy.
But you know what? Power armor?
I don't care what it gives me. I am not needing glitter anything.
There's
Especially
also
when it mentions with vampires.
Cyber Knight, drug-enhanced juicers, and the crazy who has a microchip installed in their brain for high-performance psychic abilities as a result of their insanity. So, yeah, okay, so that's just using one of those, like, so they have, like, it looks like The rogue would be more a scholar and adventurers, and then they have racial character classes and men of magic. So they have sort of these 4 main classifications and a whole bunch of stuff under them. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it seems like there was multiple apocalypses almost, too, because, like, one of these things, when I briefly saw it, it mentioned after the apocalypse of the rifts, which I guess caused a lot of problems, there's a golden age followed by a apocalyptic nuclear war. What? Or was the nuclear war before the rifts? I don't know. It's like there was a nuclear war, there was some rifts. Things have gone crappy on Earth, it seems like. Oh, so maybe the nuclear war helped release the magic and created the rifts then, which makes magic common. So then we have high technology and magic in a post-apocalyptic setting. Yeah, nuclear war was before. So, I mean, it is a post-apocalyptic, but it's a really weird post-apocalyptic because we're still mixing high technology that still exists and now magic too. So, and apparently there's also vampires. So it's like, I feel like it's adding in a lot of the post-apocalyptic tropes or like versions of stuff that have existed. Wow. It looks like an interesting game system, I have to say, without having to actually know a lot of the system. Again, it's one of those classic ones that I've heard about, but I haven't thought about the idea of rifts for like a decade. So it's sort of like I haven't even thought. It's like, well, as soon as I saw this, I'm like, rifts. That's so familiar. I must have heard about it.
I've never played it.
No, I didn't even know it was still going. You know, it's like I guess I should add it on my list of games to try along with GURPS and Call of Cthulhu, and I think there's like 2 others that we talked about that are like we should probably try these.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Diamond Worm. We're talking about a game where dolphins evolved to use mechas on land.
Dolphin mecha!
I'm sorry. This game wins just by that alone. Dolphin mecha.
Now, I have a question. Can sharks use them as well?
Ooh, the sharks.
A mecha shark would be awesome.
With lasers installed on his head?
Maybe they could be street sharks.
God, street sharks. Hi, Aurora. What's up?
Pop's in the shower, so can you be in the...
Talk about rifts for a second while I make sure she's got something nice to watch. Because apparently my father is getting some things ready for his band gig tonight.
I will try to talk about something I don't know about. Sure.
Use Diamond Worm as a reference if he's got anything cool.
You have anything cool to share with us? Other than the dolphin thing, which seems awesome. Feel free to type it in chat. If not, I will look at the website and look at it and see if I can find anything else cool.
Skip that commercial.
Let's see.
I'm psychic, I know how long it will last. You got a good 20 minutes
Right.
to pop up to be outshot.
Yeah, weird combination of underwater, land, and vampires with magic technology seems to be a very interesting...
How's those mecha dolphins going?
There are rules to play a dragon in one of the books.
Okay, so I went from mecha dolphins to dragons.
Mecha dragon!
I mean, it sounds like there's a lot of ridiculous stuff in the books anyway. England has a new Camelot and new King Arthur by being manipulated by ethereal extensions of an alien intelligence disguised as the Wizard Merlin. What?
Okay, so I'm gonna just say, from what we have read, this game is off the rails.
But a good kind of off the rails.
And includes pretty much everything under the sun.
Yeah, in Germany, the new German Republic, with the assistance of the Trax Corporation, battles against an empire of gargoyles that has apparently conquered much of Europe. And France has already been overrun by the gargoyle cold and other monsters and cults. New Camelot...
Were the gargoyles originally from Brooklyn?
Probably.
You know where I'm going with that.
I know where you're going with that. China's overrun by demons, because sure. Japan has become
Isn't
like...
that true in our time?
Yes, true. Japan has become more like, you know, ancient Japan, except mixing technology, so it's like Mecha Samurai or something.
Oh God, it's the Wolverine movie all over again.
God.
Wolverine Origins.
Wait,
There
and
wasn't Origins. It was the second.
if the four horsemen of the apocalypse are hanging out on Africa, apparently traveling across the.
What?
Yeah.
Dude, let's just hang out in Africa. We'll with Baba Wame.
Yeah. Wow. And there's apparently like also some other people and a disguised goddess, Egyptian goddess Isis there too.
Okay, this is just getting.
Oh, and Colombia is a nation of humans and dwarfs that fight against the kingdom of vampires.
Who all are snorting cocaine and dreaming this stuff up.
Bolivia's what was once Bolivia freed humans and DB slave soldiers, and a race called the Dakar. I formed a like legion of mercenaries there.
But my head's starting to hurt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there anything that's not going on in this world that's batshit
I
crazy?
don't know. The world is so weird. I guess like because you have
Is
like
there any like just like random there's probably like
Well-
two random normal people in this entire world who are just like, what the hell is going on around us?
well, it's because you have time-space rifts coming out all over the place. You can just do really weird shit.
You know what? I want to just I want to create a character in this game that's just like some normal dude from like 1900s.
Oh.
Just like, what the hell?
He got time-spaced into like a really weird place.
Yeah, it's just like, what is going on here? I was just like making a bowl of cereal, and now I'm in some place with mecha dolphins and vampires, and
Oh,
why?
and then deeper than the Mariana Trench, an evil alien intelligence knows the lore of the deep, which is oftentimes mistaken for a kraken and leviathan, slowly grows stronger, with hope to devour everything on the planet. It is posed by the Whale Singers, rebellious creations of the monsters, and descendants of the U.S. Navy, now called the New Navy, which I guess controls the ocean. There's also floating city of Tritonia, pirates from the ruthless aliens known as the Haroon monsters, extra-dimensional invaders, and of course the dolphins, orcas, and whales. That's the ocean.
My brain hurts. Matt, don't die on me. My brain's hurting too much.
Alright. This is wonderful. I think this is the most...
Is something.
This is the most ridiculous, but most wonderful, like... I don't know.
Most ridiculous, overly complicated, random mishmash. This is Smash Up on crack.
Mexico is apparently where the kingdom of vampires come from. They're Mexican vampires. Bastards.
Oh no! It's that. Oh God. What's the name of that movie? Quentin Tarantino movie.
Yeah. I'm forgetting it also.
Dang it.
That,
But yes, it's Quentin Tarantino vampires attacking the world.
yeah. Jeez. Wow.
Is George Clooney gonna fight him?
Probably, and die horribly to them eventually at the end, defeating a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. But George Clooney.
Wow. No. The Mounties survived the Great Cataclysm, though Canada did not, and are an independent law enforcement force called the Tundra Rangers.
What? How do the Mounties survive but Canada doesn't? They're in Canada, so if Canada's no longer, shouldn't the Mounties be no longer? Did they just flee their post as cowards?
Shh.
And if so, what good are they?
Don't let them know. It doesn't make sense.
Very little does.
Yeah.
Like the Forest Horsemen just hanging out in Africa. You know, we had nothing better to do. We decided to just roam around Africa, spend, plaguing people with war, pestilence, disease, death.
And Manhattan doesn't seem to have changed whatsoever. It's still referred to as the Mad Haven, and it's a place of demons, madness, and other horrible things, a melting pot of everything on the earth, as it is now.
Yes, because there's so many demons in Manhattan right now.
I mean, it's a melting pot of everything on earth, as it is now.
No, there's demons in Manhattan now.
There probably could be. And the great state of Laszlo, built on the ruins of Toronto.
Is that where the Mounties are hanging out?
I don't know.
I was told to stop trying to make sense of the world. You will not be able to.
It's
this
fine.
Is like the movie Pootie Pootie Pome.
It's an OVA, thank you very
it's
much.
hurting my brain.
It was wonderful, and if you know a lot of anime, you know everything it riffs. It riffs too many things in too rapid succession. That's the problem. That's why, like, when you get 1 out of 10, whatever it's trying to, like, parody, you're just like, what? And that was the problem with
Excuse me. And I get less than that because I'm not a big anime buff.
Yep.
Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah, let's go to our last topic.
Crazy Land.
Oh, that was wonderful. That was a dive I enjoyed diving into. So, Port Royale. I spelled it with an E when it shouldn't be spelled with an E.
Yes. That confused the heck out of me when I was searching it. So I just went to Steve Jackson's site and found
Well, you know what? I can't get every spelling correct all the time. So apparently it's a...
with the
It's a notorious merchant-based game, apparently. You're competing to be the best pirate merchant. And now it's available in the US. Cool. It was in Europe. I'm not sure if it was in...
Germany.
So it's a German game. Okay, German-based games,
Oh.
yay. So we're finally getting a US version of it. English. There may have been an English in England, we don't know for sure. Finding out that is a...
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was going to comment about the artwork because it's definitely not normal Steve Jackson artwork, but it looks like they copied the original artwork.
Yes. Well, they changed the box art to make it a little less silly.
But the cards themselves are exact copies of what the original looked like. Because that doesn't look like Steve Jackson art on the cards. And I was just like, why is this a vast difference? And I'm like, oh, I'm looking at the German version on Board Geek.
Oh yeah.
It looks like an exact copy of the card, so that's why it's not like typical Steve Jackson style.
Mm-hmm. So the object of it is to basically be the best pirate merchant, and you hire your best admirals, sailors, traders, mademoiselles to expand and fortify your shipping empire. I guess compete with each other, probably try to do stuff to sabotage for each other, steal from each other. I'm assuming since it's a pirate merchant, trying to amass the best wealth and characters, you know, but it's a luck-based thing, I'm guessing, and I'm guessing there's a betting kind of thing where, you know, it's sort of like in zombie dice where you can choose to stop and keep the brains or keep rolling and maybe, you know, get shot a whole bunch of times and lose all of them. There's probably a luck mechanic that you have to push yourself on.
Yes.
But Port Royale, I mean, cool. It's a game that I don't think I've actually heard of, because I've heard of Port Royale, the actual place, but like the actual game, and apparently it's like really, it's one of a big one in Europe, and it's like, oh, hadn't heard of that.
It looks like short synopsis: players vie to hire the best admirals, sailors, traders, mademoiselles to expand and fortify. Hey, stop it. Their vast shipping empires. On your turn, you'll push your luck to amass the most wealth to hire the best characters, but if you push it too far, you get nothing, so be wary. So yeah, there seems to be some kind of betting mechanic or something that to try to get more money to be able to hire people, but if you push yourself too much to try to get too much money, that you might lose it all.
Yeah, it looks like it's 2 to 5 players. They say 20 to 50 minutes, so I'd say like if you're not really familiar with it, maybe like 40 to an hour and a half. Because I know how it is when you're just setting things up. I mean, it's an interesting game. It seems like it is, just in general. And now you can get an English version of it. And Steve Jackson does some good things, so I mean, they must have adapted it well enough.
Yeah, and it's won multiple awards apparently in Europe since 2013.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
I should really get some more water because now my throat is all dry and I ran out.
It won the Wiener Spiel Akademie
Wiener Spiel Academy Game Designer Award for 2013. And the 2015, the Wundenpelli Family Game of the Year.
Thank you for having better German.
Yes. Those 5 years of German? It was 4 or 5 years of German. Should pay off.
Ironically, I think you have better pronunciation in German than you may in English.
It's another phonetic one. They don't hide anything, but they sometimes have those umlauts which make really weird noises, which I have to remember exactly. But other than that, they are a full phonetic language, and they don't have any kind of hidden things. That's why it's easier for me to pronounce Japanese and German, because both of them are phonetic languages. How it's written is how it will sound. Unlike English, which likes to hide letters and stuff like that, you know?
I love also that it's like, you one of the things you have to try to buy are mademoiselles, which is like, they're normally clad in a dress and everything, and she seems to have a fan.
Yes.
But are they or are they not prostitutes is the question.
They're prostitutes. That's exactly what they are. They're ones that you're getting, I guess, for your sailors or something to keep them happy.
Come on, real pirates just use the cabin boy.
So you say. Accuracy is not always accurate, Joe.
Anyway.
Yes. So, yeah, Point Royale out now. If you really like European-style board games, guess what? You can get it. And Steve Jackson has a adapted version of it for $20.
And they have the rule sheet.
Yes, which is always good. So if you want to look up the rules now, you can go to Steve Jackson Games' website, check out the rules, read about it. It'll be 120 cards, which is not a bad card game for $20. You know, you can get stiffed on card games sometimes, so that's not a terrible one to get. Okay, so why don't we move on to our final segments?
Is it the final countdown?
I don't know what the heck I'm gonna have for stories from the table for this week. We've told a lot of stories, and I was hoping to have people here to share stories because it's my. What's a good?
Since we talked about something that was completely off the rails, what's the most bizarre thing that's happened in a game?
Oh wow. I mean, we've had some bizarre moments in gaming. Like our time in Sigil, where the giant tentacle from the Far Realm tried to come out, and I was like, go hug the giant tentacle monster. It's a family game. You know, it's like, I'm like, it's a family game. Now go hug the giant tentacle monster.
I don't want to. It's technically be in a no-no place.
Family game. Tentacle now. Or, I mean... It's like a weird game rather than a silly game is very different too. Because, I mean, we've had silly games, which we talked about before, which are sort of like comedy games. Really, you can only do like a one-shot with them anyway, ever. Yeah,
and those are going to be inherently weird. But, like, I'm talking like weird stuff that's happened in a normal game.
Yeah.
I have an interesting one.
Okay, go ahead.
So this was in a game you weren't involved in. It was with another group of friends.
Yeah. Oh.
It was the first time the DM ever played/ran a game.
Yeah, that always is
and
well.
It was a crossbreed between 3.5 and 2nd edition.
Wonderful.
So that was weird. And he was more of a DM that did not care about the rules. If it made sense to him and made an interesting story, that's what he went with.
Oh, you know, that's always good. Yeah. I mean,
it led to weird things. One of the strange ones, we were in one plane that has the dead gods floating in it. I'm trying to think what plane that is.
I don't remember either.
But we ended up eating a piece of dead god and having some very random effects from that. There was also a time we faced a golem in the middle of Sigil, and he allowed us. I had a cloak of many things. I created a pit under the golem, and he allowed, because to him it made sense that my other person who was in the game with me, she cast fireball on it, and he said since it was in the pit, it baked it like a clay doll, and its head popped off, which happened at the same time the guards were running down an alley, which but the other character then used Mage Hand to somehow grab the golem's head that popped off and use it as a bowling ball to knock the guards down. Mind you, this was not a silly game.
No, but it's very...
Weird.
No, this was bordering on silly. I'm sorry.
Yes.
When you allow things to go that crazy, I mean, there's fun.
There was another time where we were under Sigil in the catacombs, being chased by something, and he allowed our mage to turn one of the walls of the buildings under there to mud, and then tensor floating disc Silver Surfer style on top of the mud to get away.
Yep.
So there were serious moments in the game, and there were plenty of interesting things, but there were moments like that were just like, well, logically, if you were thinking outside the rules, a person may think, oh yeah, that could work. If you're looking at the rules, yeah, it's not going to, but we had fun doing that. It was a very free-form game. I'd say it takes very specific players to be able to not overly abuse that.
Because the thing is, a lot of that sounds abusive is the problem. You know? Even if it's, like, borderline abusive, it sounds, unfortunately, like, yeah, too much freeform just to a degree. Just enough, you know, it's...
There were times that I was even going, this probably shouldn't work.
Creativity is one thing, like, insanity is another. That's the thing I have to say about it.
It was a fun game. It is a very memorable one because of that. You know, specific things happen. Like, I was a rogue, and I ended up stealing, like, a massive amount of wealth from a mining company in the middle of the night, and we got away.
See, it's moments like that actually might work, that are or more neutral, that bring it up as a better game. I think if you had it just as those weird collection of stuff and you didn't have the better moments where things were a little bit more tapered off, you'd remember it differently. And that's the thing. Is like,
yeah, and I think, well, part of also the interesting thing with him as GM was that he wrote everything ahead of time, but he stuck by what he wrote. Like, there was one time we were going to we were trying to find my uncle who was kidnapped. And he had a very specific room. He wanted him in this tower. And we ended up taking a shorter route than he was planned out. But instead of just saying, okay, I'm going to move him to another part, they'll never know, he kept him where he was. And we were able to do it a lot easier than he thought we were going to if we would have took this other route.
Ah.
So that made it interesting too, because most GMs would have just been like, okay, this is going to be too simple, then I'm going to move this guy to another room.
Yeah.
I originally planned. But that's how he operated. What he wrote was set in stone, so we could navigate through sometimes easier than what he planned, or sometimes it was harder than what he planned because we didn't take the thing he thought was logical. So it balanced out in that.
I don't know. Well, I share some of my unusual stories, because I don't think I have, like, a really great one.
I need
Um,
you. I need you.
There's a few times I can think of that are very strange. What do you need?
I don't know, but it's pretty strange.
You're gonna have to get Pop Pop to help them.
I'll change the channel.
I think she needed something new on the TV. Her show ran out, I'm guessing. I'm expecting that even when I move this computer to a more private room, I'll have a little girl running up to me and bothering me while in the middle of doing this anyway. Because she still comes up to me and bothers me when I'm trying to record.
Yes.
So I don't think I'll be rid of her. Stream
But it
niece.
makes life interesting.
Stream niece will be an eternal thing at this point in time. At least until she gets a couple more years on her. But no. There's a couple of games. First off, I think our time that we specifically went weird. And the one game where we went to the Far Realm. Far Realm was weird.
Yes.
Where we literally shifted our characters. Was it clockwise? And played us the next character over kind of for like a brief period of time, you know?
Yes.
Where we became each other. And we remembered we were used to be the old person, but we're also the new person. And it was like really weird.
That was definitely weird, yes.
That was a really weird one. For ones that I attempted weirdness, well,
Oh, yeah.
okay. Here's one that I think is an interesting one to discuss about because it was attempting for emotion and a little bit of weirdness, and it didn't work. Was the factory in Aberrant, which I don't know if you were part of. You might not have been in.
I don't think so.
Okay, so here's the setup. Evil organization. And they're basically looking for... there's a type of superhero called Nova in Aberrant. And we were playing in a time period where Novas were still... We were playing like earlier than the normal setting. You know, so it's years ahead, so Novas are still rarer. An evil organization is basically trying to find people... Well, technically children that are... have the gift. And they're going about in a very horrible manner. So doing bad things to children. Kidnapping them, doing bad things to them. They have this kind of monster that's a guardian that is like a literal monster. I made him out to be a monster. He's a Nova, but he's horrific in form, and he does bad things to anything he gets a hold of. Various types of bad things. He murders, does bad things to corpses, and I can there's more to explain there, but I don't want to go into detail right now, since we'll keep it a little bit more
Family friendly?
Yes. So, apparently he was doing this to a lot of, like, homeless people and hobos and stuff like that. But also, occasionally they would give him, you know, some of the children, and then he would do bad things to them, too. And it was supposed to be very emotional and end up just being more kind of weird, you know? It was like, I was trying to make it like, that it was like... it's when you're trying to create, like, the worst monster you can imagine in, like, a modern-day society. You know, and because the thing is, he didn't technically kill the children. We'll just say that.
Yes.
So their children were not. They managed to save some of them, but they were like, you know, horribly emotionally scarred kind of thing. You know, and they did. I think they did kill the thing in the end too. You know, when they went through the abandoned meat factory that wasn't so abandoned, because he had been at it for a while and had a couple hundred, you know, homeless people he had managed to get a hold of, guarding this other facility where they were experimenting on people. So, you know, I tried to make the most horrible thing, and it ended up really being kind of strange and weird and stuff like that. And it's memorable in a way, but it's not the kind of memorable it should have ended up being. And that's one of those things about it. And again, it's like trying to come up with a specific emotion doesn't always work properly. And I think that's another thing that you can get weirdness from. Is like when you're trying to invoke a specific emotion in a game and it doesn't get the correct emotion, then it doesn't fit, you know?
Right.
And that's one of the ones that did not fit. I tried to have, like, disgust and horror and, like, you know, anger, and I didn't get those emotions really from the people. But again, it's like, it's also something you don't necessarily want to describe in too much detail because it's sort of like you don't want to go to that dark place that you're already creating. It's like, I've suggested this dark place exists. I don't want to go to detail about this dark place, you know?
Right.
like the cult that, you know, sacrifices children and bring them back as undead. You could easily have that in D&D, you know, that specifically does children, which is a very horrible thing, and it sounds very evil, you know, and you have to worry about undead, like, zombie children or something, you know, army of them. And you don't want to go into detail about the sacrifice too much, you know. Usually you don't. You know, you might hint at it with something there, but you're not going to show your players something like that usually.
Right.
Because that gets a little too dark, the actual showing of them. You might find, like, the blood-soaked altar or something, you know, and you know that bad things happened here. And bad things happened before these, you know, their bodies were raised as some kind of undead, maybe whites or something. You know, that actually might be an adventure to do, you know, creating an army of white children or something. Ugh. Terrible. That seems like a bad cult to take care of. I think those are the two that stand out as ending up being more weird side. I'm pretty sure I've had some other weird games that I've tried to experiment with in the past, that's for sure. My experiments for, like, interesting settings and stuff have just been a mixed bag. So, I mean, those end up sometimes really weird, too. And that's a thing. So, I definitely, if we're talking weird stories, they end up that way. I don't think... Riffs seems like a different kind of weird, but I also did something like Riffs. If you remember, my Besom game was supposed to be like Riffs, except more controlled and less apocalyptic. The one that you were the vampire in. Because it's supposed to be like dimensional portals and stuff had opened up all over the world, and the world had maintained itself, and it was a Besom game, and so it's like the new generations of, like, powered young individuals and people new to the world were being sent to this, like, island school to, like, learn. And since you were new to the world, but very old, you know, you got to go there. And I think you looked young anyway, too, so... Because you were a vampire.
Yes. I also had to trade my whip to speak English.
You did, because of Bessem's system. But that was just entertaining. That was just entertaining. And there was other really entertaining stuff the first time we played that, and we never were able to properly get back to it. You know, that was... It's... I would love to revisit that setting, but it was a real terrible thing because I had to make all the other NPCs in your class. What I should have done is only made an NPC when I needed them for specific adventures, because I was going to do it you were either going to do some adventures on your own and then maybe bonding adventures focusing on some of your classmates or something, you know. And I didn't do that properly, so my bad. But let's move on. We're running a little late, so I think unless someone in chat has a great gaming sage advice, or you do, Joe, I don't have one in particular that's great today.
No, I don't either.
It's normally our segment we'd answer sort of like a discussion question about something, and I'm not picking up... actually, wait, no, I do have one that I could probably do that's related to what we just talked about. What's too far with strangeness in a game? In a role-playing game, we'll say. Let's talk about just role-playing games in general for a minute. What level would you say is too far for being weird? Is it going to silly? I think that's my level. Is when it becomes more comical than weird, I think that's too far.
I think if it almost becomes unplayable. When you sometimes if you throw the rules completely out the window and you're going really silly, then you're probably to the point where you're not going to be able to really have a game anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think that we'll keep it simple there because we don't really have a great question for today. We'll just end it today anyway. So, you know, we had a good show. And I have two things. I'll have to cut this one up and throw that other first part into, like, you know, stuff. And Streamcat came back.
Streamcat!
Meow. I'm Damien.
Meow, 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 meow.
Yep. So, great. I think that's it for today. So next week, we theoretically will have Ollie. And we should have another person. I will make sure of it this time, because I should have some extra time this week, theoretically, to be able to do so. So hopefully we will, you know, get everything better in position, for next week, and we'll have better guests, and we won't have this problem again. And
Hey, are you saying I'm not a good guest?
You're a co-host. I always suggested we maybe look for another co-host sometime, which I don't know. Maybe we will. And then only have 1 or 2 guests. I don't know. We might. Maybe we will. We'll see about that. So, that's
That way,
it.
if internet problems creep up, you're not in a lurch.
That way I always have at least 2 people with me at the time,
Or
something like
at the
that.
very least, hopefully 1 if something
Yes.
happens to 1.
Yes, or like if you have to cancel out again, which has been rare, but it's happened, then I
Right.
don't have to worry about, being on my own. So we'll find out about that. So I guess since Joe, you're just going to promote everything we normally do. Treasure Last Legion is theoretically still on hiatus. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to check with Rachel. I know she's still in Hawaii until the week after this week.
We may try to do something random tomorrow, but it's
not
looking great.
I have a little time in the morning because I don't think I'm going to my grandmother's tomorrow, but I'm not 100% sure. If I'm not, I should have the time to maybe set up something quick and dirty. It'll not be much, but it might be like a couple hours.
Use D&D Beyond if it's a D&D game and to create a quick character.
I was thinking it was going to be D&D, and that quick character thing, I can just have everybody do quick characters. I'll just be like, do quick first level characters. We'll call it a day with that one. Though.
I'll give it maximum effort.
So yes, it's funny because that's mummic exam because it's in backgrounds. It looks like that mum exam.
Yeah.
That it actually works really well. The maximum backwards.
Mum exam. Something.
Yes. It doesn't work as well for the effort because there's actually letters that when you reverse them they don't reverse well. But expect more videos today. I will be doing my role-playing game of Pathfinder, which I've been doing tonight theoretically, as long as we get players. And then expect more videos tomorrow, and hopefully I'll be back on a better schedule and much more of a normal schedule early next week.
And hopefully I won't have any more internet issues. I was out for 2 days.
So hopefully things will be back on track, mostly on the on YouTube, and streams should be at least on a relatively normal schedule, as far as I know. So I'll try to do something tomorrow, as long as, again, if I'm going to my grandmother's, I probably won't be able to, but I think we're not now, because my mom has been feeling pretty sick today, and my dad is working tomorrow, so...
I hope your mom feels better.
Hopefully she will. But, okay, so we're just going to call it for today. I don't know if I linked my Discord in below, but I will eventually link a Discord below if you want to join the Discord. I have the Patreon if you want to show some extra support for the channel. And both here on Twitch and on YouTube. That's probably the best way to support me currently if you want to show extra support. The schedule is down there. I have to update the schedule, so it's mostly the same. I haven't added Fallout to it. A lot of other links are down below here. Go check out my YouTube channel if you want to see more stuff on role-playing games, or some VODs from the live streams I've had if you've missed any of them, anything like that. They're all going to be up there. I'm probably going to be uploading a few VODs after here anyway, because I've been trying to keep up with the Fallouts, because I've split them up into episodes at least.
Yay!
Which people have enjoyed, half-an-hour episodes. I think that's everything to support it. My Twitter is usually a pretty good place to see most updates. I haven't been responding to other people very well lately on Twitter for like the past couple of months. I'm hoping to switch that to being more active there again. But at least I will update people about what's going on there. So that's something. Even if I don't have very great responses to you, if you try to cuss out a conversation with me, I probably will at least, say something here and there. But, so that's it for today. We'll see you next week. We are on schedule for next week, and I guess that's it for today. So, hope everybody had a great time and enjoyed the show. Bye for now.
Bye!